China's first prototype space station, Tiangong-1, will come crashing back to Earth between March 30 and April 3 in an uncontrolled re-entry, give or take a few days, experts say. Read on for a primer on the Space Lab and its mission, as well as links to Tiangong-1 stories, galleries and infographics. Tiangong-1, whose name translates as Heavenly Palace 1, launched without anyone aboard on September 29, 2011. It settled into an orbit about 217 miles 350 kilometers above Earth, a little lower than the International Space Station, whose average altitude is 250 miles 400 kilometers. The docking of two robotic spacecraft, the Tiangong-1 space station and Shenzhou 8 capsule, provided a preview of larger Chinese space complexes planned for the future. Credit Carl Tate, Space.com contributor. The 9.4-ton, 8.5 metric tons Tiangong-1 is about 34 feet long by 11 feet wide, 10.4 by 3.4 meters, and features 530 cubic feet 15 cubic m of habitable internal volume. China's Tiangong-1 Space Lab in pictures. Tiangong-1 consists of two components, a resource module, which contains the Space Lab's solar power and propulsion systems, and an experimental module that accommodated astronauts and scientific work. The experimental module features two beds and some exercise gear, but it doesn't have a bathroom or kitchen. These latter facilities were provided by the spacecraft that visited Tiangong-1. Another spacecraft did visit. That was the focus of Tiangong-1's successful mission. After all, the Space Lab was lofted primarily to test the docking and rendezvous technologies that China will need to build a bona fide space station in Earth orbit, which the nation plans to do by the early 2020s. China's first ever in-space docking occurred in early November 2011, when a robotic craft called SHENZHOU-8 visited the newly launched Tiangong-1. Two crewed missions to the Space Lab followed, SHENZHOU-9 in June 2012 and SHENZHOU-10 in June 2013. Both SHENZHOU-9 and SHENZHOU-10 had 3 crew members, and both missions lasted about 2 weeks. Tiangong-1 was designed to keep ticking for just 2 years, and the SHENZHOU-10 visit marked the end of the Space Lab's operational life. China put it into sleep mode shortly thereafter. Originally, Chinese officials had said they planned to deorbit Tiangong-1 in a controlled fashion, using the craft's thrusters to guide it into Earth's atmosphere. But in March 2016, China announced that Tiangong-1 had stopped sending data back to its handlers. The spacecraft's functions have been disabled, according to a report at the time by the state-run Xinhua news service. So a controlled re-entry was no longer in the cards. The Space Lab would fall back to Earth on its own, pulled down by atmospheric drag. Tiangong-1 won't be the biggest spacecraft ever to fall uncontrolled from the sky. In July 1979, for example, NASA's 85-ton Skylab space station burned up over the Indian Ocean and Western Australia. Some big chunks survived the fall, and the Australian town of Esperance famously sued NASA $400 for littering. And in February 1991, the Soviet Union's 22-ton Salyut 7 orbital outpost came tumbling down while it was connected to another 22-ton spacecraft called Cosmos 1686. Nobody was aboard Skylab at the Salyut Cosmos 1686 complex when they hit Earth's atmosphere. The Soviet-Russian space station Mir was even larger, at about 140 tons. But its March 2001 destruction was a controlled re-entry. Based on Tiangong-1's orbital details, that will happen somewhere between 43 degrees north latitude and 43 degrees south, a huge swath of the globe that stretches from the South Dakota-Nebraska border all the way down to Tasmania. A map showing the area between 42.8 degrees north and 42.8 degrees south. Latitudes in green, over which Tiangong-1 could re-enter. The graph at left shows population density. Credit ESACC by SAEGO 3.0. That's as specific as the experts can get at the moment. Biggest spacecraft to fall uncontrolled from space. Most of Tiangong-1 will break apart and burn up in Earth's atmosphere, but some of the Space Lab's hardier pieces will probably survive re-entry, experts have said. However, these flaming space junk chunks will probably splash down in the ocean, which covers about 70% of the planet's surface. And don't worry about death from above, the chances that a piece of Tiangong-1 will hit you are less than 1 in 1 trillion, according to an FAQ published by the Aerospace Corporation. But if you do stumble across a piece of smoking space wreckage, don't pick it up or breathe in any fumes it may be emitting, the FAQ added. It might be made of, or carrying, toxic material. Any pieces of Tiangong-1 that survive re-entry will likely fall to Earth along a long but narrow track, according to analyses by the Aerospace Corporation. Credit the Aerospace Corporation. And by the way, the law of finders keepers doesn't apply to space junk. Any pieces of Tiangong-1 that reach the ground, regardless of where they fall, remain property of China until the Chinese government explicitly relinquishes ownership. Robert Pearlman, editor-in-chief of the space history and memorabilia site and Space.com partner Collect Space, told Space.com. Such ownership is spelled out in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which both China and the United States have signed, Pearlman explained. In the unlikely event that Tiangong-1 falls to Earth near your house, you may be treated to a nice sky show. Incandescent objects during this re-entry may be visible and will likely last up to a minute or more, depending on time of day, visibility conditions and the observer's location, the Aerospace Corp. FAQ states. It's unclear exactly how much money will go up in smoke when Tiangong-1 comes down. China HASNT announced a price tag for the Space Lab. But in June 2012, Chinese officials did say that the country had spent 39 billion yuan, about $6.1 billion US, on its human spaceflight program over the past 20 years, according to Spaceflight Now. Tiangong-1 WASNT, the last of its kind. In September 2016, China launched a slightly bigger follow-on called Tiangong-2, which hosted the visiting SHENZHOU-11 craft and its 3 crew members in October of that year. China also launched a robotic cargo vehicle called Tiangong-HOU-1, which docked with and refueled Tiangong-2 in April 2017. Tiangong-HOU-1 performed 2 additional docking refueling operations before being deorbited under command from ground controllers in September 2017. Tiangong-2 is still aloft. It doesn't look like there will be a Tiangong-3. After the Tiangong-HOU-1 successes, Chinese officials said that the nation will soon start building and assembling a permanent space station, which crews could visit as early as 2022. China's Tiangong-1 Space Lab expected to fall to Earth over Easter weekend. The Chinese space station is falling back to Earth, but it probably won't hit you. International campaign will monitor fall of China's Tiangong-1 Space Lab. Guessing game, when will China's Space Lab fall to Earth? China's first space lab Tiangong-1 reaches end of mission. Successor plan. China set for more manned space missions. China launches first female astronaut and 2 men to Space Lab. No chance. Secret X-37B space plane spying on China module. Expert 2011. A year of transition for human spaceflight. China succeeds in first space docking by 2 spaceships. China launches first Space Lab module into orbit for docking tests. China's Tiangong-2 Space Lab mission in Pictures Gallery. Tiangong-1, China's first space laboratory photos. China launches first Space Lab. Tiangong-1 photos. China's SHENZHOU-10 space mission in Pictures liftoff. Launch photos of China's SHENZHOU-9 docking mission. SHENZHOU-9, China's first manned space docking mission. Pictures SHENZHOU-8, photos from China's first space docking mission. Photos, China's first space station evolution. 6 amazing orbital outposts. Tiangong-2, China's space lab for long missions. Infographic. SHENZHOU-10 explained, Chinese astronauts head to space lab. Infographic. SHENZHOU-9 explained, China's first female astronaut heads to Space Lab. Infographic. How China's first space station will work. Infographic. Follow Mike Wall on Twitter at Michael Wall and Google. Follow us at space.com, Facebook at Google.